What is going on, Charles Botensten? We are live again every single day. Kind of gets me going, kind of gets any of the questions that you guys have in the morning. So obviously we're talking about the book. I haven't linked it up, but there will be a link after this. And of course people, is it affiliate? Yeah, it's affiliated. I'm sorry that Jeff Bezos is going to be the first billionaire in the world. But the second regret, which you obviously already know the title, I wish I did not work so hard. And this is a tough one for me because I love working. And unlike a lot of people, you know, I work on weekends. I love working on weekends. It's just all I think about. I'm in the shower, I'm bike riding. I'm just thinking of new ideas. I'm thinking of how to get better, how to get more efficient. You know, that's just, you know, when you look at someone say, highly recommend not only the book, obviously, but there's a great video out there, the Men Who Built America, highly recommend it. Incredible documentary based, I think it's the History Channel, and they essentially go down the line of the biggest people. What's up, Chris? They go down the line of the biggest, the people that kind of built America, obviously, because that's the name of the title, but you have Rockefeller, Ford, you know, Edison, and Carnegie, and you just literally look at them and they were obsessed. The two things that I've noticed is competitive and they were driven. And you can't, for them, do they regret working so much? I have no idea. I haven't read any biographies. I did read about Cornelius Vanderbilt, who is also in there. But what I could say is, this, not only is it a tough one for me, but I'll just put a little context about how the book actually explains it. So you already, if you've seen the one yesterday, it's really just the people right when they're about to die. And they go down their list of their top 5 regrets of living and not doing something. Hair is out of control. And one of them is working so much, and it was really the people that worked too hard too late into their lives. You know, the last story they were talking about was this guy who, his wife was like, can you just retire? Can you just retire? And he was one of the wealthiest guys, and he said, one more deal. And he said, I'm gonna retire next year. And then when he said he was gonna retire next year, between then and when he was gonna retire, his wife got cancer and died. That's crazy. So that's really, and then he lived his entire retirement without her. The woman who supported him his entire life for 40, 50 years of working, of getting wealthy, of popular, fame, of everything. And then he couldn't actually enjoy it. And you know what's funny is that there's two things. Number one is, we are obviously living longer, but the age at retirement, which is 65, was the average age of death about 100, 150 years ago when retirement was a thing. There was no retirement. It was just work, okay? Retirement is something just made up. And they based it around that if you work until 65, you only have about 5 years left, and those are your golden years. Your golden years when you're 65 and you're about to die at 70 were your golden years. That's insane. So I would say after reading the story, what triggered for me is that during my weekdays, I've religiously cut out any kind of social events because I don't want to be hungover or sick, you know, my health and things like that for the next morning, making sales calls and obviously going live for you guys. But what I'm thinking is maybe add in a little bit more. So my hierarchy is health, family, business. It used to be health, business, family. And then before that, it was family, business, health. So I've kind of flipped it. And why health first? Because if I am sick, my family's worried about me. If I am overweight, if I'm smoking, if I'm drinking too much, if there's something wrong with me, my entire family suffers. So that actually bleeds into the family. If I'm healthy and everyone's healthy and we're having fun, we're traveling, we're laughing, we're high-fiving, that's why I put health as number one. Everyone should be looking after their health number one. That should be the biggest concern. Why? Because it's the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is due to health concerns. I know way too many people that had to sell their houses and move into small one-bedroom condos because someone got sick in their family and they had to pay for it, okay? It's not uncommon, okay? That's why health has to be number one. Incredible video put out by Brian Johnson. It was it's known as anti-cancer or curing cancer or something like that. Highly recommend you watch it. And it's part of his premium $10 or $12 or $8 a month. I have no idea, but it is highly worth it. And he put it out and he literally just goes over the 10 ways to avoid cancer. All right, I'm a little off topic right now, but I'll just go back onto what I was saying is that I think what she's getting to in the book is not just go free flowing. You know, don't go California and just live on the beach and just say fuck it, whatever. No legacy. You know, you're kind of laughing around, having a good time your entire life. You know, that's Felix Dennis. If you look him up, Google Felix Dennis. He was one of the biggest publishers in the UK. And then in New York, they're very rigid. You know, where I live, you know, they're very rigid, and there is no laughing. There is no. It's all work, 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 work. Even for the women that, you know, they want to marry and get married, but I'm like, dude, you're working too much. So it's really a balance between that. I think the balance is either on the weekends or weeknights. Work your ass off during the day, and then weekends you essentially just go all the way to Monday and you crush Monday. For me, I work 6 days a week because I have open houses on Sunday. But I would say health is number one, because if I put business number one, that means I'm going to be stressed out, I'm going to be working too much, I'm going to get exhausted, I might get cancer or heart attack, or, you know, something might go wrong with me. So number two, top regrets of the dying was working too hard. I only, and I'll just leave you with this, is that when you look at the top figures, Elon Musk spending more time with his kids, and I know that actually because I actually know his private plane pilot. He's one of 5 people that fly Elon Musk and other SpaceX people around. Number 2 is Jeff Bezos has talked about the importance of family, that the family has to stick together, is that really breeds a good family. Number 3, welcome from Bangladesh. That's awesome. That's the power of the internet right there. Number 3 is Richard Branson talks about the family. Tony Robbins talks about the family. The family is very important, okay? So you could crush it. All these people are tens of millions, billionaires, some of them. You know, Jeff Bezos probably going to be the first trillionaire, and they're crushing it, but they also have the family, and they know the importance of the family. I think that balance has come into our psyche, which is good, from the 90s, which was insane. Trust me, my brother lived through that. He said Wall Street in the 90s was just fucking mayhem, and obviously it was portrayed on Wolf of Wall Street. So if you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. Highly recommend the book. And the reason being is that nobody talks about death and dying and things like that. So, all right, speaking of health, a bit off topic, but what about your oatmeal in the mornings? But what do you have with your oatmeal? I have walnuts and almonds. And then sometimes I sprinkle in some other nuts. And the reason that I sprinkle in the other nuts is because that it adds in fat and adds in energy, and it's good for the brain. So check that out. And I will see you guys. I'm going to be doing some prospecting calls. I don't know what the hell just happened. But I'll see you on the prospecting calls.